unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard the term AI agent, but if you're anything like me, you probably didn't know what that means. But let me show you a real life example of an AI agent that we built this week to handle something that would normally take me several hours every day. So those of you who don't know me, my name is Bryson. I run a series of family businesses here in North Texas, and we have currently embraced AI in every aspect of our operation. We're trying to find really cool, unique ways to implement it into our businesses, and I share them here, so hopefully we can start a conversation and you can maybe learn from some of the things I've learned the hard way. And people like to get real technical about this stuff. I try to break it down in really simple, at least my understanding of it. So what is an AI agent? Well, an AI agent, in my understanding, is it's a series of repeatable knowledge and tasks. So think of what you would teach somebody their first day on the job, right? You'd have to give them some information about the task, about their job, about what tools to use, and then you'd have to kind of show them the steps to do it. Well, it's the same thing we can do with an AI agent. So we run a handful of e-commerce companies, and one thing that in e-commerce is it changes very quickly, especially online sales when you get into digital marketing. And I need to know how the stores did the previous day, to make adjustments, see where we need to focus our time and our effort. So what that required before was me manually logging into 5 different stores, pulling, sales, conversion rate, sessions, trying to figure out if there's something that went wrong before we just let the problem go on for too long. And so what I'm going to show you here, we just call this brand agent. So this is my thing. I think I actually told it that, like, you are the brand manager for these brands. So you're to report to me everything that's good, bad, and ugly with these brands and have it in one place. And on top of just giving me the data, because anybody can kind of build a dashboard, I want you to look at this report versus the historical reports, and you're looking for trends. You're looking for things that are improving. I can tell you, hey, we've been working on this. Do you see any improvements? But you're not just to bring me the data. You're to bring me the data plus the interpretation and suggestions. So the same way, if you were to hire someone and say, I don't want you to just bring me the problems, you need to bring me the solutions too. That's what this brand agent does. So right here, I just told it, run brand agent. And what it does is it already knows all of this. Sometimes I have to reauthorize just as the way the MCPs and all the technical stuff is going. But it's going to go in here because I trained and set up this project where it knows to run this. Another thing is this is set to run on a schedule. So every day, if my computer is open at 7 a.m., it just pops up like you would, like an employee comes in and says, hey, boss, here's what I've been doing. And if my computer's closed, then it kind of hangs out in a queue and it triggers it the next day, or not the next day. It triggers it as soon as I open my computer. So anytime after 7 a.m., if my computer's open, I have all the data that I need, or at least the data to see where I need to go start working. So I'm gonna let this run, and then I'll give you an idea how long it took for this to run, and we'll show you some of the outputs. Okay, so it just finished up. It took right at 2 minutes, and let's look at some of the data. And I'm not gonna show you my store financials, but I'm gonna show you some of the insights. So for instance, here's one right here of one of our sub brands. It shows me all the landing pages after it showed me the top ones, conversion rate by page, so we can see which ones are working. And then let's look at the suggestions. So this landing page is receiving the most traffic, but only converting at 3.3%, which is below the sampler page. So it suggests rewriting the above the fold copy. It gives us our Klaviyo versus Facebook conversion rate. So we're talking about there. And then it talks about fulfillment. So the same things that a brand manager would look at. In 2 minutes, I got that for all 5 brands. Then I tell it, generate all this from all of those. Like, you've seen all the numbers, you know all the data. Then give me the top 3 cross brand priorities. So it looks at all of those suggestions it made for each brand. It says, okay, what are basically the 3 most meaningful things you could do on the brands today? So here's one. And we're on Mother's Day here, so it's a little bit different of buying behavior, but everybody knows that in e-commerce. So it wants us to check out a checkout audit because our conversion rate sharply dropped on one of the stores, and it's giving me all the numbers on that. On a different store, it says the best thing we could do is to scale the spend because we have a 12.8% conversion rate on one specific Facebook ad campaign. And then the other one is for a different brand. It says, let's focus on shifting some of our paid budget from Meta to Google, and then it gives all the reasons why. But this is something before that big brands have the teams to do, but small brands like myself, we would have to manually go in, figure all this, and even once we had the data, have the ability to compute, okay, what should I be working on? But this is a great starting point. I built this inside of Claude Code by telling Claude Code, here's what I have to do every morning. Can you help me build something? And it built this. So that is my understanding of an AI agent. I'm sure if you're an AI expert, you're going to tell me how terrible this is, how wrong this is. But if you're a small business that's looking for a way to start freeing up some of your time and leaning into these workflows, this is a great one that we have found so far.